Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Konetsky, and I'm President and Group Publisher for Business Publications Corporation. On behalf of the Business Record, welcome to our annual commercial real estate event. Thank you to our supporting sponsors today: Community State Bank, Des Moines Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, Mid-American Energy, Polk County Housing Trust, and Whitfield Eddy Law. Can we get a big round of applause to them, our panelists, and our entire team for helping bring this group together this morning? Again, my name is Chris Konetsky. I'm President and Group Publisher at BPC, and I'm so grateful to be with you this morning. It's always really powerful to look around a room like this when we can bring everybody together with individuals who've played such pivotal roles in shaping the commercial landscape in our state. The work you do developing spaces, revitalizing neighborhoods, and growing communities is foundational to the strength here in Central Iowa. It takes dedication, vision, and collaboration to make those things happen. And a true example of this dedication and vision and collaboration was Jay Byers. Jay was a visionary leader, a connector, and a tireless advocate for our community, whose genuine love for the community had a profound impact on so many. It's really been a tough week for a lot of folks. There's been a lot of events and opportunity to connect with folks about the way that he impacted so many people. The outpouring of support and the number of messages both online at events this week makes it really kind of impossible to measure the impact that Jay had on so many people, but it really does bring it into the light. Years ago, we helped Jay and the Greater Des Moines Partnership produce a 125th anniversary publication, celebrated the history of the Chamber and the legacies of all the people that helped contribute to transforming our region. Dave Elbert wrote the publication. We titled it and themed it appropriately after one of Jay's favorite phrases and metaphors, standing on the shoulders of giants. You've probably heard him say that multiple times during his time at the partnership. The metaphor's most popular expression comes from a letter by Isaac Newton, in which he writes, "If I've seen further than others, it's by standing on the shoulders of giants." Jay was a tall pillar in the community, and it's only fitting to recognize him here in the room with so many people that I know worked with him and worked with him to help build the community we have today. So I want to thank Jay today for helping so many in our community see just a little bit further today. Now, in the words of Jay, and you'll see it in the paper this week, onward. All right, today, with the help of our 6 expert speakers and senior staff writer Michael Crum, we're going to dive into an array of industry-related issues, including the economic climate, the office and industrial market, and health of downtown. Our goal, as always, is to provide you with a solid outlook for the Greater Des Moines area in the coming year, and along the way, we'll get a look at some of the current projects that are indicative of the changing issues and trends affecting the real estate industry. Woven between our panelists, you're also going to hear from today's aforementioned sponsors. We're also going to recognize our 2025 Iowa State University Ivy College of Business Commercial Real Estate Pro of the Year. We've only got a short time here today. We're going to scratch the surface of a number of topics. That's the intent of today's event. Luckily, our brand new annual real estate magazine is just one more of the ways that we can help you digest what's going on in the community. A big thank you to our entire team who contributed to the success of this year's publication, our editorial team, along with our copy editor, photographers, our design team, and the hard work of our writers that helped make this publication possible. And of course, the publication wouldn't be possible without the support of so many of the folks here in this room and our chapter sponsors. So a big thank you to the City of Ankeny, SVN, R&R Realty, First National Bank, and Tenfold Architecture and Engineering, and the countless other companies that help support our ability to produce publications like Annual Real Estate Magazine and events like today. Let's give them a big round of applause. Our cover this year was photographed by our own Dwayne Tinking and features the cozy, inviting cocktail lounge and listening bar, The Country. It opened last fall and was done by Billy Weathers, founder and CEO of the Be Well Foundation. You'll find this magazine in the bags at your tables to bring with you and take home. And if you're a member of the Business Record, you'll also be receiving a copy on Friday. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dean David Spalding, the Rice Beck Endowed Dean at the Iowa State University Ivy College of Business, to introduce our 2025 Iowa State Ivy College of Business Commercial Real Estate Pro of the Year. Dave, come on up a little bit here. We'll get you up here. I recently had the opportunity to attend the retirement send-off up at Iowa State for Dean Spalding, which was complete by a full performance of the Iowa State Pep Band. Dean Spalding is currently wrapping up his 12th year and ending his tenure as the longest-serving business dean in the state. He's done amazing things at the college. They've been a longtime sponsor here. They've done a lot of work building a real estate program up at Iowa State, and I know he's got more news to share about that as well. Making sure that you've got a great workforce. He's done a number of things to help this community, so I do think an extra special recognition is due. So please give Dean Spalding a nice warm welcome.
Well, thank you, Chris, and my thanks to the Business Record and the Business Record team for being such great partners for me during my time as Dean of the Debbie and Jerry Ivey College of Business. So when the opportunity was presented to us to be a sponsor of the Commercial Real Estate Professional of the Year, we didn't hesitate, jumped right on top of that opportunity. Real estate is an area where we at Iowa State University have the expertise to meet the industry demand for professional development and upskilling. We worked in partnership with the Iowa State University College of Design to launch a Master of Real Estate Development program in 2019. The Iowa State Master Real Estate Development Program prepares working professionals for career success in the real estate industry. It offers networking opportunities and collaboration with leading academics and practitioners, including our honoree today. It's offered in a convenient format of online learning and a few brief campus residencies. It's ideal for a full-time working professional. The Masters of Real Estate Development is one example of the programs we offer to working professionals. At Ivey, we also offer the following fully online master's degree programs. Our part-time MBA program, now available fully online, a fast-growing program for us in Ivey. It's also still available on a hybrid basis here in Capitol Square, attending classes one night a week and getting the rest of the content online. We have a fully online Master of Business Analytics degree program, a fully online Master of Healthcare Analytics and Operations. All of our programs offer rolling admissions, are self-paced, flexible, and require no GRE, no GMAT, so no standardized tests to figure out again at this stage of our careers. We're in the process of accepting applications for the fall semester now, and we'd love to connect you with one of our recruiters or program directors. Now, in addition to this program, we've just gotten approval to launch an undergraduate certificate program in real estate. We've had real estate classes for a number of years available for undergraduates, but then they'll now be able to pursue a certificate in this area as well. So real estate is so important to the state of Iowa, very important to us at Iowa State University and the Ivey College of Business. So today, I'm excited to introduce Bill Wright. A good measure of a man is what those he works with say about him. May even say more about that man when you look at what those he competes against say about him. Bill Wright, this year's Iowa State University Ivey College of Business Commercial Real Estate Professional of the Year, earns almost universal praise on all fronts. Bill views it as an honor to be recognized by his peers. Quote, "Nobody's perfect, but it's validation that I probably made some good decisions along the way in terms of how to conduct business." He went on to say, "Real estate doesn't always have the greatest reputation, but it's a validation that I tried to do things the right way," unquote. Throughout his over 30-year career in commercial real estate, Bill, now a senior vice president of CBRE, has indeed done things the right way. From his first taste of the industry building databases for Crowley Mandelbaum, then stops at Grubb & Ellis and Terrace Real Estate Group, before ultimately joining CBRE in 2014, he has always been the consummate professional. Quote, "Bill is a special person who adds value to clients, agents, and friends," unquote, wrote Kevin Crowley, COO and manager of NAI Iowa Realty Commercial. Kyle Gamble, executive vice president and chief operating officer of Hubble Realty Company, wrote, quote, "Throughout his 32-plus years in the brokerage industry, there is no person more dedicated, thoughtful, and skilled than Bill, both in his profession and within the community at large. Over his career, Bill has arranged some of the largest and most impactful commercial real estate transactions in Iowa," unquote. High praise indeed. Now let's see what others have to say. We've got a video.
When I am asked if we have a broker that we use, I say yes, Bill Wright. and immediately they say, you have the best.
You have had such a huge impact on our community through your involvement in commercial real estate, and you've had an equally large impact on the people you've interacted with, leadership and mentorship.
Bill is very knowledgeable, and he treats our business like it is his business. His insights have been invaluable. His professionalism is unparalleled.
He wants to create a positive outcome for those in business, in the industry, people that he's mentoring, social, with friends and family. It goes into every aspect of Bill's life is to create that emotion, create a touch point with people that is positive.
And still in line from your favorite movie, Gladiator, what we do in life echoes in eternity. I feel the perfect mantra for you, Bill, and how you conduct yourself in business and in life.
Your impact, your dedication, your commitment, your leadership are felt in this industry every single day.
Your mentorship in our business has shaped an entire generation of commercial real estate brokers.
Nobody works harder or puts in more hours than you do providing value to their clients, large or small. Despite all those hours, you still find time to give back within the community and mentor younger brokers in our office completely. It's what makes you a great leader, and we're lucky to have you.
For 32 years, I've admired your strong work ethic, your dedication, compassion, and just true love for what you do every day. Your generosity and willingness to serve others through your volunteer work, coaching, and mentoring has been impactful to so many individuals and organizations.
Congratulations, Bill, for being selected for the 2025 Commercial Real Estate Professional of the Year.
Congratulations, Bill. Congratulations, Bill.
Congratulations, Bill.
Congratulations.
So congratulations, Bill.
Bill, aka Dad, congrats on the Commercial Real Estate Professional of the Year award.
The kids and I are so proud of you, and we love you very much.
Wow. So I'd also like to note that part of Bill's giving back is being an active collaborator with our Masters of Real Estate Development capstone class. We value his expertise in sharing his incredible knowledge with our graduate students. They are better for it, and I had a chance to hear Bill talk about the 5 students he's working with now, and wow, just amazing. So, the Iowa State University Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business, in conjunction with the Business Record, is proud to recognize Bill Wright as the 2025 Commercial Real Estate Professional of the Year. Bill.
Thank you so much. I have a cold, so I don't sound like the normal Bill right now, but I first want to say thank you to the Iowa State University, the Ivy College of Business for this tremendous honor and selection. I want to thank the Business Publications Corporation team, who I have known since the day I started. I remember being asked to go meet them right off the bat in 1992. Chris, Kathy, Michael, Stacy, Jason, and then today I see Connie's here, and Loretta, and Kent Dar, who called me 4,000 times for market information. I am very appreciative to the Business Publications team for everything that they have done and for sponsoring this event. I want to thank those who nominated me. You already saw them all on video, but Mary Hunter and the Goodwill team, who I treasure, Kevin Crowley, who you're going to hear more about here in a second, Adam Caduce, and Kyle Gamble. I also know that my business partner, Dakota Little, had a big part in this nomination, so I'm very appreciative of Dakota. I want to appreciate my CBRE. I want to let you know how much I appreciate my CBRE team. A lot of them are here this morning. Thank you for being here. AJ Colress stuck in the St. Louis airport, so he couldn't be here this morning, but just wanted to say thank you to them, and in particular my personal team, Chris Pendroy, Dakota Little, and Grant Wright. You know how I feel about you, and can leave it there. The most important person in this room is my wife, Mary Beth. We on May 1st celebrate 32 years together. And if you only knew the number of times, prior to remote desktop work, I used to leave the house and go to the office on Saturdays and Sundays, and if you only knew the number of times she supported me when I would have to go to the office on a Saturday or Sunday. Now that remote desktop is here, she just says, after dinner, she's like, "Are you going to your cave?" Which means I'm going downstairs to do emails. So she has been my true everything. It was already mentioned by Chris, but I want to thank the My Simpson community. For those of you that know me, I bleed red and gold. I talk about Simpson all the time. I love Simpson. And it's been a really devastating week for the entire community, and in specific the Simpson community, and obviously for Jay's family. I spent the better part of last weekend just looking at all the social media posts, press releases, the comments about Jay, all which were just wonderful, and that's what makes Des Moines great, is the love and outpouring. And I'm not a spokesman for Simpson College, but I want you to know how much we, the Simpson community, appreciate it. I was told to keep this 2 to 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go kind of the speed dating of thank yous here. I have been extremely fortunate. I like to call it lucky. I prefer the word lucky. In 33 years of working in this business, I have met some of the most wonderful people, and many of them are friends and clients. And I had the briefest banking career in the history of mankind, 2 months, and then Kevin Crowley rescued me. My best friend in college knew Jim Spooner, and Jim Spooner knew Kevin Crowley, and Kevin needed a property research. Him and his partner, John Mandelbaum, at Crowley Mandelbaum, and in 1992, I joined them, and it was the best, other than Mary Beth, the best decision, definitely professionally. So I worked there. I'm so appreciative of Kevin and John's leadership. At that moment, I met one of my best friends in life, Kermit Marsh, who has been a mentor to me for many years. Kermit, May 15th, will celebrate 89 years on this earth. And Kermit has been, I still have lunch with him on a very regular basis, sometimes daily. So it's great. And then after Crowley Mandelbaum, I spent 10 years at Grubb & Ellis, and those were really my formative years. And I got to meet and work with people like Kurt Mom, my dear friend Sherry Good, wherever she is, my personal assistant Linda Hillier. I got to meet people like Jake Christensen and work with Jake. I got to work with clients like Jeff Brands, who you saw in the video, the LifeServe Blood Center team, the US Bank team, Mary Malloy, Liam Minton, all these people. I can't express how impactful they've been on my life. That led me to 10 years at Terrace. Chad Rasmussen, who is here, Chad recruited me to Terrace and even backed up his Blazer and moved me out of my office to move down to Terrace. I think he was afraid I wasn't gonna actually come. But there I got to work with people like Stan Gibson and Randy Manier and had a great 10 years. And then during this whole time, I got to become really, really good friends with my biggest competitor, Todd Malang, who now I'm a teammate with. I owe so much to Todd. He and I admired his work, and he admired mine, and it was a mutual admiration, and I'm so thankful that now I get to work with Todd on an everyday basis. I went to CBRE Hubble, which became CBRE, and I got to work with Kyle Gamble. Kyle couldn't be here today for good reason. He was out of town, but Kyle became a tremendous friend. You saw him on the video, and advocate for me. And Kyle and I got to work on probably the hardest transaction I ever got to work on, which was not selling real estate, it was selling a company. But with him and Ashley Oust and the entire Hubble team, who I love dearly, many of them I've already seen here this morning. So there's kind of my thank yous. My final comment is when real estate investors are thinking about investing in Des Moines, they'll come into Des Moines and they'll often go, "So tell me about Des Moines." And every broker in here has said, "Oh, we're stable. We're 2 to 3% a year. We just click along. We don't have the highs. We don't have the lows. We just have that stability." And it's true. And in my life, I've gotten to do a lot of mentoring of young brokers. And they've probably heard this comment before, but my comment to them has always been, be Des Moines. Des Moines steady. Don't worry, someone's gonna have a high. There's people with lows. Just be true to your foundation. Be true to who you are. Be Des Moines. We're steady. We're rock solid here. And that's what makes Des Moines such a great community. And I am so honored to be here today. I'm starting to crack up now, but so honored. And I'm so appreciative of this award. And my final thing is just be Des Moines. It's an awesome place to be. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Bill. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Bill, he's going to be in he's in the magazine and will be in the Business Record on May 9th as well. Bill was one of the first folks that helped educate me as I was a 22, 23-year-old brand new editor trying to learn what a commercial real estate was. So thank you, Bill, for your time and energy helping me and spending the extra time with me to do that. All right, panelists, we're going to have you all make your way to the stage. Each one of today's panelists brings varying backgrounds and perspectives from across the landscape. Our goal with the event today is to give you both depth and some breadth. There's no way we can hit on every topic. We're going to leave you with a number of key insights that, of course, we're going to continue to explore in our products throughout the year, Commercial Real Estate Weekly and our Project 515 series. So here's what you can expect. We're going to start with one question for the whole group. Then we're going to hear from a sponsor. We'll begin hearing from each speaker one at a time with our other sponsors woven in between the speakers. And then at the end, if we have time, we're going to have a little discussion opportunity for Michael to ask some additional follow-up questions. So our panelists that are here with us today, we have Cody Christensen, he's the Director of Development Services with the City of Des Moines, Mike Durkane, co-owner of Beal Durkane Construction, Angie Fong Koo, President of Sidekick Development, Christopher Stafford, Director and Senior Vice President of Cushman Wakefield Iowa Commercial Advisors, Chris Trosper, Director of Real Estate Development at Opus Development Company, and Matt Weller, Vice President of Development at Hubble Realty Company. Let's give them all a big round of applause for agreeing to be a part of this today. Yeah. Our moderator today is the very talented our senior staff writer, Michael Crum. He covers commercial real estate, and he's the one who has curated today's panel and the questions. We encourage you, of course, to subscribe to the weekly e-newsletter, Commercial Real Estate. And of course, when you have story ideas, projects that you want to let us know about first, please call Michael. Michael, go ahead and take it away with the first question.
All right, thank you, Chris. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you all this morning for joining us for this conversation. I appreciate your time today. We're going to have an opening question. We joked about if there's a way we should shorten that this morning, but we won't go into that. With some of the economic uncertainty today that we're seeing, tariffs, interest rates, changes in Iowa's property tax system, can you describe the condition of the commercial real estate sector today and answer kind of the whys about why, why you're seeing that condition of the sector today? Let's start with Mike.
Thanks for that. I was hoping to tag on to somebody else, but I guess I'll take it. I think the current market is uncertain. Everyone talking about tariffs and taxes and interest rates, all the fun topics that we all love to talk about. It is a topic that we talk about in every project meeting that I sit in right now on a daily basis. Clients are wanting to know what are the impacts of tariffs, how's that going to affect material procurement, what's going to happen with pricing. I think it's too early to tell right now what the true impact's going to be. I just hope that we don't have another toilet paper incident like we did with COVID, and we can calm down and put our head down, and we'll do fine.
Michael, did you just want to hear Mike's accent to start us off?
No, I've heard it before, so I've already got to enjoy that. Angie, let's move on to you.
I kind of echo what Mike says. I think everybody's cautious, right? I think we're still optimistic, but we have to be cautious. And as we're building projects, we are adding in extra inflation dollars that we hadn't been doing since COVID. And so for my clients, we're just very careful about what materials we're planning to build with, and then also really making sure we have our financing in place and our partnerships in place so that if we do move forward, there's not a stall or a stop. But I'm hopeful we'll work out of this a little bit quicker, but we are very cautious at this point.
All right, thank you. And Christopher.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Bill, congratulations. That's a well-deserved honor. Proud to call you my friend. We think the CRE market certainly is not hitting the brakes, if you will. We think it's shifting to probably a four-wheel drive opportunity. We're navigating some uneven terrain in the days ahead. It's a period of recalibration. We don't think we're retreating. We've certainly seen market fundamentals deteriorate with the tariffs, with the interest rates, with higher construction costs, and all those things are going to impact whether you're an investor, a developer, lender, occupier. There's certainly headwinds ahead of us. So, with that, we think the market's fundamentally solid. We do think we're in a period of transition, and in transition, it's probably better to measure twice and cut once.
And Chris.
Good morning, everybody. I was having a funny conversation during kind of the social aspect, and somebody that I was talking to said, you could get up there and basically say whatever you wanted, and nobody knows any different anyway. So that's kind of how it feels right now. Funny, but I was trying to prepare for this, and I was, to me, it comes down to how does the consumer feel? That impacts everything that we do. And so I was looking up the VIX, the volatility index, and just making some comparisons. At the peak, the volatility index, hovers around 20, and the higher it goes, the more volatile everything in the market feels. So in 2008, the peak of the volatility index was about 80. And in COVID, it was about 75. And when the trade war started, it was about 45. And yesterday, it was about 30. So while everybody feels like, man, this is really volatile, it kind of gives you some perspective that it's like, okay, calm down. Everything's going to be okay. We'll get through this. Just, it's going to feel a little bumpy.
And Matt?
Last but least.
Oh, you're not last.
Great.
Saving last for Cody.
Yeah, it's an environment of uncertainty, and uncertainty can be, calculated as risk. And real estate development inherently has risk, and that's what we try to do as developers is mitigate risk as much as possible. So while uncertainty is not ideal, we calculate it and do what we can to work against it, I guess. So.
And now last.
It felt like you were saving something special for Cody, but
I just figured I wanted to give Cody a chance to hear what everybody else had said first, so that he could.
Well, I'm honored to be the closer here amongst this group of experts. I guess when I look at this question, I look back at what the past 5 years have brought to the commercial real estate sector, and I see that the industry has really faced a lot of challenges, and through those challenges, it's built a lot of resiliency. It's made the industry quickly adaptable, identify and capitalize on the opportunities that always come when there's a challenging situation. So you may just call me the ridiculous optimistic up here, but I do back this up with some data. So we're really coming off of a record-breaking year. In 2024, the City of Des Moines issued building permits for $821 million worth of development. That set a new record high for us. And 2025 has carried on the momentum. So far this year, we've issued permits for $295 million more development, and we have another $238 million of projects in the hopper that are under review yet to be issued. So when I look at what's to come with the commercial real estate sector, I see a lot of good opportunity. I think we're strong. Much like Bill said, I think the Des Moines market is a stable market. It's dependable. And I'm really encouraged by what everybody up here has to say about how they're preparing for what's to come.
Well, thanks to the panels for teeing us off here to get a little bit of a sampling. Uncertainty is the certainty, I think, of course, at the moment. They're each going to talk about some of the projects that they're working on here in a moment. But before we get to that, we're going to bring our first sponsor to the stage today. Our first sponsor is from Community State Bank. Please welcome Brian Hanna, President of Community State Bank.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning. I'm Brian Hanna, President of Community State Bank. We also go by CSB. First, congratulations to Bill. Second, thank you for Business Publications for supporting our local real estate community. And lastly, thank you for the panel for your comments. CSB is thrilled to sponsor this event. Real estate is a big part of our balance sheet, and we want to support the local community that's been so good to us. CSB has been in Central Iowa for almost 125 years, and we are focused on helping Central Iowa grow. Last August, we broke ground on a new headquarters. It's right by Costco up in Ankeny, and expected completion is in the spring of 2026. Our headquarters represents our mission to connect, serve, and build our communities. Our goal throughout the project is to be good stewards of the resources we're lucky to have, and so that our employees, our customers, and our community will be proud of our new home. CSB continues to grow, we continue to say yes, and we want to make decisions that are close to our clients. As president of the bank, I want to know our clients, I want to have those relationships, and I want them to know how we think. We still think that local decisions and relationships matter in 2025. As the panel alluded to, the world's moving pretty fast. The economy is probably less predictable, and there's a lot of noise. I think in times like these, I think we're super fortunate to call Des Moines home. Our market is proven to be resilient. We're seeing strong multifamily and industrial projects. We have a growing population, and it's still relatively affordable. Finally, I remind our bankers that it's during these unpredictable times, it's when bankers probably matter more. We need to lean into our relationships and help people. So at CSB, we try to be consistent, honest, and a knowledgeable resource that our customers can count on. Thanks again for the Central Iowa real estate community. We really appreciate your partnership and support.
All right, Michael, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. Thank you for your comments and participating today. We appreciate it. Cody, we saved you for the last time, but we're going to kick this next part of the program off, starting with you. We're going to show some slides here, I think, in a second, showing a couple different things that are going on in the metro. But you started your opening comments by talking about the number of building permits and the value of projects that you saw last year and that you're seeing this year. Can you do a little forecasting and tell us what things you're looking at closely and what kind of projects you're expecting to see here in 2025?
You bet, Michael. I think the tough part will be keeping this short enough so I'm not consuming the entire time here. Like I mentioned, we're in a record-breaking time, quite frankly. We have projects popping up all over the place. We've got our 33-story tower that Mike here is probably going to talk about later on in this discussion. It's going to change the landscape, change the skyline of Des Moines downtown. We have multifamily projects that are just going crazy right now. Last year, we completed 692 new residential dwelling units, and as of today, we have another 1,850 that are under construction. We have another 485 that are in for review that haven't been issued yet, and we've recently had 685 that are proposed in and around the Market District that are yet to hit our desks. So to me, that says that Des Moines continues to be an attractive place. We're attracting those residences. We're attracting businesses. We've got lots of diverse opportunities. So we have projects going on downtown, from new development to conversions of existing buildings. You look at the financial center, the conversion of Ruan 2. We've recently had a proposal for converting 2 of the Wells Fargo buildings to a 170-room hotel. But that's not it. We also have opportunities for historic building conversions. Part of the stuff that I talked about earlier with Michael was the number of civic buildings that are becoming available along the Des Moines riverfront. The city is investing in improvements to Grays Lake. We're updating the marina. We're putting in a splash pad. Matt and his team have a lot of stuff going on in Grays Station. We have the Armory building that's going to be vacated here at the end of this year. City Hall. The U.S. Courthouse is going to be auctioned off here later this month. There's lots of opportunities out there. We also have a number of surface parking lots sprinkled around downtown that are available for development. And in fact, the Polk County just issued an RFP and received 4 out-of-state proposals for the Cherry Street parking lot. What that's telling us is that investors around the country see Des Moines as a safe place to invest. It's a good sign. Now, a lot of this is just focused on downtown, but part of what we do at the city is really focus on diversifying what we're trying to attract. We're not just a one-trick pony. We're looking at other things. Last week, we made an announcement that we had our first certified site in the southeast part of town, the Southeast Des Moines Industrial Park. Really looking to attract more of that industrial development. Things that will support that are the Southeast Connector that's going to be extended here. I know there's an effort to get an interstate designation for the Highway 565 bypass, which really promotes that industrial development around the perimeter of the city. And we're also looking at our neighborhoods. So you've heard of Invest DSM, and we're working on a housing strategy that's going to work on more investment in the residential areas that really build more momentum for the neighborhood nodes and corridors that impact the commercial sector. So take a drive down Ingersoll. Ingersoll has just been exploding here in the past year. We're going to have Goldfinch Lofts kicking off. Lifestyle Communities is doing a project at 31st and Ingersoll. We've had other inquiries on other properties along that corridor as well. That's not the only one, though. We have Beaverdale that has opportunities. We've had interest along Southeast 14th. Merge development is going to be kicking off in the Drake neighborhood, bringing another 5-story building with 125 units. Just in short, we have a lot going on in Des Moines, and what we're really focused on is making sure that we're covering all aspects from end to end of the spectrum.
All right, very good. Thank you, Cody. I guess one quick follow-up. When would you expect to possibly see some vertical development in the Market District?
So we've recently had 4 projects that have been proposed. One just went to our Plan and Zoning Commission for some early approvals last week. I'm anticipating that later this year we'll see some vertical development coming out of the Market District. It's really exciting with the Two Rivers Park nearing completion. Also the Icon Water Trails project, the Scott Street Dam that's going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. That area is just ripe. It's ready to pop, and I think we're going to see it. Once it starts to go, it's going to go fast.
All right, thank you. Chris?
All right, it's time for our next sponsor to join us today. And our next sponsor is the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Please welcome Executive Director Dylan Mullenix to tell us a little bit about the MPO.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you to the Business Record for this great event. Thanks to the panelists. Congratulations, Bill. So, as Chris said, I'm Dylan Mullenix, Executive Director of the Des Moines Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO. And if you're not familiar with the MPO, we are an intergovernmental organization that's comprised of 20 communities, so cities, counties, DART is a member. And for the last 40 years, we have worked across community boundaries to lead the region in transportation planning, funding investments in our transportation system, and driving innovation for a better quality of life here in the region. And we do that so that we can ultimately have Central Iowa can have a well-coordinated and effective transportation system for all. Last time I was here, last year, we were just embarking on a comprehensive safety action plan, or a Vision Zero plan, if you've heard of that term. And as part of that effort, the MPO set a very ambitious goal of reducing and of ultimately eliminating crashes that result in fatalities and serious injuries by the year 2045. So in other words, over the next 20 years, that's our mission, is to drive down fatalities and serious injuries on our transportation system. With that plan complete, we're now looking at implementation. And one of the key things that we're starting to do with implementation that I'll get to this here in a moment, we want your help on, is to create a plan and create a system for our most vulnerable users. And those are our pedestrians, our bicyclists, people that ride scooters, otherwise active transportation. And in addition to the safety aspects of it, I think there's some things that I want to mention that you might all be interested in, of why this is important. And the first one is that transportation drives our economy, and active transportation plays a role in that too. By providing options, and we just heard about providing options, providing more diversity, it provides more ways besides just the automobile to get people to work, to get kids to school, to get to essential services and so forth. So it's going to be really important that we provide those options. And that leads to the second one. Second idea here is, for years, this region has worked on how do we keep and attract younger people to this region. And what they want to see is they want to see more diversity. They want a more transit-friendly community. That all has to be built around having a walkable, bikeable transportation system. And I don't want to forget, too, the third thing. We already have a great aspect of an active transportation system with our nearly 1,000-mile trails network running through Central Iowa. This plan will help bolster that. It'll build that out further but we also want to complement it by having more on-street facilities, having more of a commuting network, not just a recreational network. So to that point, on the table before you is a card, and we want to invite you to participate in this process. We can't do this alone. If we just did this in a vacuum, it wouldn't be a plan for anybody. We want it to be a plan for everybody. So please share the information on that card with your friends, neighbors, families, what have you. We're gonna have a couple public events coming up here starting in a few weeks. We're trying to do these at fun places like Confluence Brewery and Brightside Ale Works, places where you might actually want to go and have a drink and participate in this process. There's also a survey link on that card to where you can provide us input that way. There'll be more events coming over the next several months, so we really hope to hear from you. Let's help us make this a great plan for the region. Thank you, and have a great event.
Thank you, Dylan, and thanks to the MPO for your work, continuing to help make sure the region is planning in a way that helps make sure that our developments can happen in a way that provide opportunities for all of our panelists here today. Michael?
Thank you, Chris. Mike, let's turn to you for the next series of questions. There's this little thing going on down at 5th and Walnut Street. I'm not sure anybody has noticed or heard about it before, but can you give us a quick update on the 515 Walnut Tower project?
Sure, yeah, it's been a fun one. So we broke ground in January of this year on the 33-story, 390-unit project. It's about 340,000 square feet with a 27-month construction schedule, so we should be wrapping up in spring of 2027, about 2 years from now.
And you recently brought in the crane that you'll continue to increase its height over the next year or two till completion, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So we have our tower crane, I think it was set 2 weeks ago now. It's setting at its highest freestanding height around about 250 feet right now. As the building goes up, we will attach the crane to the building so it doesn't fall over. So it will jump up 2 more times, and final resting height will be around 415 feet above the ground. So it's a fun one to climb up.
So kind of what's the next step here in construction of that project?
So we are just wrapping up the foundations of the project. We have both deep foundations and shallow foundations. The deep foundations go down about 120 feet into the ground until we hit bedrock. There's about 26 drilled shaft piers that are holding up the building, 4 piers below the tower crane, so there's 30 piers on the project. The shallow foundations aren't still that shallow. They're fairly substantial. The bottom of the shallow foundation is about 15 feet below the ground. The mat slab below the core is 7-foot thick slab. We have about 3,700 cubic yards of concrete in the ground right now, and we have about another 17,000 cubic yards of concrete to go once we're finished the project. So there's going to be well over 2,000 concrete trucks visiting that site in the next 12 to 16 months.
I forgot to mention that there will be a quiz at the end, so I hope you're all taking notes. Mike, how do you make a project like this pencil?
Oh, that's a $100 million question. Yeah, I think it comes down to 2 things, experience and relationships. We've had the fortunate to be able to build 10 of these high-rise buildings around the country in the last 15 years. Andy and I have worked really hard at coming up with the right ingredients to find the right balance to make the numbers pencil. So that comes down to all the data that we've had in terms of how long should these take, what should the concrete cost be per cubic yard of concrete, how much should the cabinets cost, what should the glass on the exterior cost, where should we be buying these components, and which also goes into our relationships. We've got a lot of great local subcontractor relationships, also regional and national, which really helps us bring the most economical package to Des Moines to be able to build a project like this.
How important is vertical infrastructure and construction and development to a downtown district like Des Moines?
I'm a big believer in Des Moines. I love Des Moines. I choose to live here. Probably could live lots of different places, but I want to live in Des Moines. I love the city. I love the state of Iowa. I think the key ingredient to a downtown is housing. I think the more people we can have living downtown, it's going to take care of the office situation. It's going to fill up retail. People want to be downtown. The Des Moines Farmers Market's about to kick off. I think The average opening day of Des Moines Farmers Markets, 40,000 people show up on that event on the first opening weekend. I think after that, it's about 25,000 people on a weekly basis show up to the Des Moines Farmers Market. People want to be here. I think if we have vertical construction and we have a product that most other cities don't have, when you can live in an apartment building and be on the 32nd floor with floor-to-ceiling height, full glass exterior, it will attract young professionals, it will attract active adults, empty nesters. People are going to want to be down here and walk to restaurants, walk to concerts, hopefully walk to a new soccer stadium soon as well.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mike. Chris?
Mike, just curious, any surprises that you've had? I'm sure you've had a few. Any surprises along the way that you've had to try to overcome?
We don't like talking about those ones, but yeah, sure. We in drilling those deep foundations, we did encounter a few obstructions in the ground. We were a part of the demolition crew that took down the Kaleidoscope in summer of 2023. That was a single. There was no basement below the Kaleidoscope. So once we demolished that building, we took everything down to about 10 feet. We were in dirt. There was nothing else below that. There was no basement. We thought we were clear. However, as we were drilling the foundations, around 25 to 30 feet below the ground, we started encountering a significant amount of debris that somebody decided to bury down there probably a good 40 years ago. So that slowed up those operations, but we got through them and we'll keep going up.
Well, I think the last question, Cody said there's some surface parking lots. When's the next 30-story building going up then?
Hopefully soon. I think Des Moines it's a great market. I think this building will fill up, and I think people will want to be in that. And hopefully, maybe the next one's a condominium and for sale product.
All right. Our next sponsor couldn't be with us today, but we want to thank MidAmerican Energy for their sponsorship of the event today and everything that they do to help provide the energy that power the products and projects that we have here in our community. So we're going to go ahead and move along, Michael, to our next panelist.
All right, Angie, again, we appreciate your participation today. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about this image right here. It's the Grimes Public Safety Building. Your primary focus is on public projects. So let's talk about where the Grimes Public Safety Building stands and give us a quick update on that.
Okay. This is Johnston Grimes are together for public safety. So this is the next Johnston Grimes Public Safety Building. Polk County Sheriff will be in here. They do not have their own police in Grimes. So this is an auxiliary. This will be the third fire station for Johnston Grimes. We're out on County Line Road, kind of a newer development area. And we started construction last fall, and they'll be open in October.
Okay, all right. Focusing on public projects, it probably gives you a unique perspective on the property tax situation here in Iowa. Can you tell me how you're approaching or how what's going on at the state level is causing you to shift or adapt when you approach these projects?
Yeah, a large majority of what I do is public, so I'm currently working with 4 cities, so I hear a lot about what's going on with the property tax potential bill that's up there. For me, for our projects currently, they're fully funded, so it's not impacting anything we're doing today. It is more impacting city budgets and operational budgets. So these new facilities we're building, it's a concern if they can be staffed. You know, as there's the 2% growth cap or restriction that they're putting on, cities are really looking. I know City of Des Moines is looking very hard at their budget, but so are all the other communities, Grimes, Waukee, looking at how operations may have to change. So there's been movement in the last 2 weeks. So hopefully some of this will not loosen up, but we can work a little bit better with it. But the main thing is just trying to keep their staff that they have. And as these communities are growing, how do they keep building permits going? How do they keep all of us developers happy that there's appropriate staff to keep the process moving? So it's hard to grow if you don't have appropriate staff. And if you're capped at a certain growth, you know, how do you keep everyone in the community happy and how do you keep everyone's jobs?
If there's further movement and maybe further restrictions on the cap moving forward, can you kind of forecast, and I know there's a couple bills that have been introduced this year that have been amended, and we're getting close to the end of the session, so we really don't know what that's going to look like when things wrap up. But can you talk a little bit about what that might look like in the future, what kind of challenges that would create on some of these public projects?
So obviously the concern, right, is that everybody's services are going to be lessened. So your streets aren't going to get plowed when it snows, your parks aren't going to be maintained. That's from the city side that I hear. That is the main concern, that the citizens will start noticing when your services are diminished. Police and fire, I can build a really nice new police and fire station, but we can't hire the police and fire to actually staff it. So I think that is the largest concern, and Cody, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, but the largest concern is when the services will be diminished, potentially because of the budget cuts. So then obviously there's a TIF implication, but Christopher will talk about that.
Okay. Chris, we'll send it back to you, and we'll
All right,
follow
sounds
up the
good.
conversation
We'll
after
do
the
our-
next sponsor comment.
We've got too many Chris's up here, so we got to figure.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we understand. All right. Our next sponsor is the Polk County Housing Trust Fund, and with us today is Matt Hauge. Matt is the Communications and Outreach Director with Polk County Housing Trust Fund. Please welcome Matt.
Well, good morning to all of you. I have more of an event and PR role, and so I always think, Michael, you guys actually do, as the business record, vote a little bit about economic health and prosperity up here. There are still yogurt parfaits on all of your tables instead of business martinis this morning. So you can see a little bit how the business record feels about the risk environment that we're in. Bill's comment that Des Moines is a stable market is so true, and it's because of all of your work. So it's an honor to stand in front of this group today. As you may know, the Polk County Housing Trust Fund is the comprehensive planning, funding, and advocacy organization for affordable housing. And so we are a small but mighty market segment here. One of the things as I look out over this room is I know so many of you are involved in projects over the years, lending your expertise and your guidance to boards and committees and development efforts for affordable housing. I know that's true because I was speaking, Angie, to you about a project that you lend your support to earlier today, and I want to thank you and everyone in this room who gives your talent. A little bit what I am on a mission to do today is talent acquisition. Des Moines is a stable market. It's also a good city full of fundamentally good and caring people. Isn't that such a core of who we are? It's so important to continue that work. I want to help, and our team wants to help at the Trust Fund, help you get plugged into efforts to lend your expertise to making sure that this is a city of housing opportunity for everyone who lives here. I know that we can do it. So many good things are underway. I have a card on your table as well with QR codes. That's the new trend, isn't it, Dylan? QR codes. And you can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can find our staff. We're right here in front of Michael today to learn more about us. But we have a couple of events next week. A week from today, you can get together with us at the Heritage Center to learn about the connection between housing and healthcare and the local programs that are making a healthier Central Iowa. With us, we'll have an event over there that's free. Registration is open right now and will stay open. And then on May 30th, we're getting ready to celebrate 30 years of the Polk County Housing Trust Fund's existence. We were brought together by, thank you. Thank you so much, really. You know, I can't go on listing visionaries and people to thank for that because there's so many of you, including people who were in this room, who made that possible. And over the years, I know for a fact, because I've seen it, how many lives have been transformed by getting the keys to your own place. Do you understand what a powerful feeling that is for people who never thought that they would have that access? So thank you all. We're having a wonderful event to look back on those 30 years at the Krause Gateway Center. That event is, tickets are on sale now, and you can find a QR code on the bottom of the card. I hope you'll join us and not only look back on what's been achieved here, but look forward to what we can do next as we work to extend housing opportunity. And now, as we're in the season of Easter, I thought I might just leave you with the traditional blessing for the commercial real estate breakfast, which I've written down so I don't mess it up. May all of your projects get into the ground on time, and may all your investors always smile upon you. Thank you, everybody.
Probably should have had you start us off with that today. So, all right, Michael.
All right, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matt, for your comments. Let's move on to Christopher. Christopher, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate your participation. Let's maybe follow up briefly on what Angie was talking about, since she's going to put you on the spot. You can blame her for this. Oh, you're the wrong
Next
Chris?
one.
Oh, now you've messed up my schedule. All right, that's right. Well, we'll stay with you, Christopher, then. We'll come back to you later. All right. Can you give us just a quick update on what's going on up in Sci-Town? I know that you're involved with marketing that right now.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So Sci-Town, it's one of those legacy projects. I think we all probably can put our finger on one of those projects that was really impactful, something that really got you out of bed each morning, and Sci-Town is that for me. Really exciting opportunity last week when McFarland Clinic broke ground on the first building within Sci-Town. That's a 78,000 square foot medical clinic, 3-story. They're expecting completion the end of 26, early 27. So that's been a project that's been probably 5+ years in the making, pre-COVID, and really excited to get some steel going. And Iowa State has partnered with Goldenrod Companies out of Omaha, Nebraska, for the remaining 7 buildings, which will come online, start construction on the next building, again, probably end of this year, beginning of next. So we'll have an opportunity for about 100,000 square feet of office space for lease, about 50,000 square feet of retail, and then some food and beverage opportunity as well. You've read in the press, the Sukup Silo Amphitheater will be one of the staples of the project. There'll be a future hotel as well. And again, this all sits between Jack Trice Stadium and Hilton Coliseum, and what are parking lots today. Iowa State spent about $45 million on the infrastructure, so sites are literally pad ready for vertical construction, and that should go pretty streamlined. So really exciting project for you. Those that haven't been to Ames, you can drive up there and see some amazing transformation.
Are there signs of stabilization right now in the office market?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. It's a yes and no. It's a mixed answer. I feel like we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. The positive news, for the first time in about 5 years, we had positive absorption on the office sector, albeit it was just 32,000 square feet, according to the Cushman Wakefield office report. But with that being said, it still is positive. When it's the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you have to understand where that positive absorption is coming from. It's in the conversion of some office buildings to multifamily, which Cody mentioned. You have some demolition occurring as well. With that being said, there are users out there looking for office space. It is an active market. I think whether you look at the suburbs or downtown, there is certainly activity, which is really positive. Deals are taking much longer, and I think clients are probably 12 to even 24 months out in front of their potential lease expirations. No new construction really on the office front, with the exception of a couple. We have seen the sublease activity pretty much dry up, which is a healthy signal for the market. And that's a really good indication that not every market is seeing the same, but the subleases coming to the market have deteriorated for this point in time.
So besides Sci-Town, what projects are you closely watching over the next 12 months?
Yeah, I think Cody mentioned it. I think the Market District's really interesting. Just some of those intangible pieces with the Mid-American Park, with the Icon Water Trails. I think, that's definitely a game changer, not just for downtown, but I think really our entire community. It's just something we've never really had. I don't know, if you haven't been down there, it's transformational. I mean, you walk across the bridge from Principal Park, from Mullets, and there's just a ton of activity, and its proximity to the river, I think, is really something we're watching. Another one that, there's a lot of exciting projects. I mean, Cody hit a lot of them. At the same time, if I look at the suburbs, I mean, there's going to be something will happen with Valley West Mall over time. And speaking with Bill Wright this morning, they had a call for offers and received 4 what they feel very qualified potential interest. So, things are happening. Some of it's really quiet and not in the press quite yet, but as we've all said this morning, Des Moines is resilient, it's strong, fundamentals are there. We just got to navigate some of these challenges.
So sticking with you for a couple more minutes, what are some challenges that owners and investors are currently facing today?
Yeah, the list is probably longer than not, but I think interest rates, the cost of capital, is certainly very impactful to the investment market. We have to watch that cost of capital in all things. I mean, we don't see an environment where lease rates are going to go down. You just look at so many factors. I mean, the cost of capital, whether it's an owner, whether it's a developer, whether it's a contractor having to do a tenant improvement project, we just see everything going up, and it's really a challenge. There's headwinds there. Mr. Trosper may get into construction costs a little bit, but everything that maybe was once you penciled it this way, I think we're really having to sharpen our pencils to really make things work from a project standpoint.
All right, appreciate it. Chris?
All right, our final sponsor today is John Fatino, member attorney at Whitfield and Eddy. Please welcome John to the stage to tell us a little bit about their work.
Well, good morning. I'm John Fatino. I'm chair of Whitfield and Eddy's Real Estate Practice Group, and I want to thank you for all being here today and collaborating with your fellow professionals. Whitfield is one of the oldest law firms in Des Moines, and we have a strong real estate practice group. We collaborate daily with developers, real estate professionals, people on the finance side, and our construction professionals. We are motivated by the evolution we see here in our region from our office in downtown Des Moines, and we are grateful for the work that you provide to us. We see a lot of our friends and clients here in the room today, so those of you that don't know us, we'd ask that you contemplate making us a partner in your future projects. And again, thank you for having us.
All right, Michael, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Chris, or as Christopher says, Mr. Trosper.
I don't think he wanted Chris Kaninsky jumping up talking about TIF, so I think that's why he was trying to clarify.
Thank you.
I'm curious, as far as speculative development, we have a picture that we're showing here, an image of the Ryder Logistics Center in Grimes. You're currently trying to market that and find a tenant for that. Speculative development right now, are you able to talk about where that stands? Do you see more of it happening, or is it kind of stalled out?
To me, the industrial market feels like it's going to go through about a three-step process, a short-term, a medium-term, and a long-term. So in the short term, it feels like we're in price discovery. Tariffs have impacted this, and in terms of costs, some commodities have doubled, some are up 30%, some are unchanged. So where is that going to land? That's kind of what's in the short term. In the medium term, there's maybe 3.5 million square feet of Class A industrial, similar to Ryder. There's other projects out there that make up that 3.5 million square feet. If we're absorbing 1 million plus square feet normally, you think, okay, it's going to take 3 years to get through that. And that doesn't have to go to 0% vacancy to start new projects, but certainly some of it has to absorb and to become a healthier industrial market. So that feels like a medium term. In the long term, fundamentals feel really good. The movement to online commerce, logistics based, getting close to the customer, all of those fundamentals feel really good. So if you could look past the short-term blips, the fundamentals are there. We've got some wood to chop, but that's kind of how the industrial market feels right now.
The volatility that we've touched on a little bit, how is that affecting the design build process? And is that different, or has a different effect than the traditional project delivery?
It does. I mean, we all have to face the same challenges. What I think, design build can do, and, we do at Opus, 70% of our work is for end user clients, not just our development team, the projects that I'm trying to start. So we're trying to maintain, touch points to all of those commodity prices and, all the way through the project and make adjustments early. So you're not going fully through design or fully through entitlements and then saying, oh, my costs have blown up on me. Now I'm in stall mode. I don't know what to do. So trying to be in front of that is I think, really key when volatility is occurring. We may or may not have solutions for that. Costs may exceed really what a pro forma can bear, but we do our best to stay in front of it and try and help end users or ourselves make good decisions.
I'm going to stay with you for a couple more minutes, if you don't mind. With the continued e-commerce demand and our here in Central Iowa and really the state's strategic location for distribution throughout the Midwest and the country, how do you see the outlook for bulk distribution, warehouse development? And especially in light of some of the things you mentioned, like construction costs and land constraints.
I think the fundamentals are good everywhere. What's difficult, especially for us, because we have regional offices in some areas like Phoenix or Denver or some of these bigger markets, people are putting up million square foot buildings, and when the market pulls back and you maybe have a little bit more active, smaller user, where users have been 200,000 and 300,000 square feet, maybe today a more active market might be 50 to 100,000 square foot user. And I think Chris sees that on the office side. The user size is just a little bit smaller.
What's the reason for that?
I think some of it's just like a national level institutional capital to go build a 1 million square foot building. That's big wood chopping. If you're a localized group that needs to grow and expand, you still have to make decisions even if there's headwinds in the market. So I think that's some of the dynamic. But nationally, some of those markets are very overbuilt. Compared to Des Moines, if there's a 6 or 7% vacancy rate in Phoenix, there might be an 11% vacancy rate, and they're sitting on a lot of big bomber 1 million square foot buildings. So that's when you look at Des Moines, you say, well, that feels a heck of a lot healthier. We might have some space to chew through, but that long-term fundamental of the industrial market, even nationally, is not going to go away. So I'm very bullish on that.
All right, very good. Thank you. Matt, let's move on directly to you. We have an image coming up here, I think, of Gray Station. That's the site map, I believe. Can you just give us a quick update about that development and kind of what people should be looking forward to next?
Yeah, Michael. Been a long time sitting here without talking, so I'm excited to share some opinions. Gray Station.
I think we've got about 10 minutes left, so you can just take the whole 10.
Yeah, great. The thunder's rolling, the lightning strike. Gray Station, 75 acres, South MLK. I'm assuming everybody kind of knows the area. Really, we master plan this as a combination of rental, multifamily, for sale condo, for sale townhome, just kind of a community with a variety of housing options, with the goal of making it a vibrant community just south of downtown. So to date, we have 275 multifamily units existing. So that's Link Apartments Phase 1, 2, and 3, 46 townhomes, which are owner occupied, and we're continuing to chew through from the east to the west. So as we progress, we're putting in infrastructure, extending Tuttle, extending Murphy, 14th Street, working with the city on getting 16th Street constructed. That's really the next big, I think, catalyst to open up additional development there at 16th Street, which I believe that's the CIP plan for next year, 2026. That'll give us 2 points of access into Gray Station. Under construction, we have a multifamily 135-unit project called Link 4, and we are probably 60 days or less away from starting a condo project in Gray Station. So that would be Telus Condos, 32 units. We've had a lot of interest in terms of pre-sales and marketing and commitments, where we've gotten an adequate amount of commitments on the for sale condo front to trigger the start of that project. So we're master planning the whole thing, adjusting and tweaking as we go, but as we continue to move past what we currently have under construction, Catalyst is a project that's right on the corner of 16th Street, caddy corner to what we hope is the soccer stadium. That would be obviously a big catalyst to Gray Station, a big catalyst to Des Moines. We're optimistic that's going to come to fruition. But that is a 268-unit multifamily market rate project. So overall, bringing 1,250 homes, whether for sale or rental, to the Gray Station neighborhood. Additional condominium projects are planned, including some really high-end executive condos south of Grays Parkway, right on Grays Lake there. The Coleman Bridge obviously was a big part of connecting Grays Station to Grays Lake. And I think, I don't have a count, but there's a lot of people who frequent that bridge. And then with Icon Water Trails, they're getting ready to break ground on the Hubble Trailhead, which will give access down to the river there and the amenities they're going to be creating. So we're really kind of at the cusp of an explosion, I think, of activity and excitement, and there's a lot of good things that will come in the next couple of years. I have one more thing to add as well. Part of the whole community is what we felt was missing for our for sale residents was amenities. You have the natural amenities around you with the trails in Grays Lake and downtown, but on our rental properties we have pools, fitness, things of that nature, but the homeowners, the town homeowners and the future condo owners didn't have that. So we are on the cusp of breaking ground on a $3 million clubhouse that will have all those amenities for those owner residents of Grays Station. We think that'll be a good anchor right in the heart of Grays Station.
How are development strategies shifting to accommodate and evolve with some of the volatility, the property tax changes and things like that? How are your strategies changing?
I wouldn't say strategy's changing. It's kind of status quo at this point. Post-COVID, we had a break in all equity. There's uncertainty. No one was putting money into deals. Everything paused. And then when that changed, now prices went up. Now costs were uncertain. We didn't know, what lumber was going to do. That was kind of the leading indicator, and everything else followed with the wave of costs. Now that's the new norm. We have a little more confidence on our costs. Then debt was a problem. It was a challenge getting lenders to lend under traditional circumstances. And with that, interest rates, were interest rates going to be 7%, 9%, 4%? Didn't know. Now it's insurance. What's an insurance rate going to be? What are the taxes going to be? So it's kind of status quo. We try to have as few variables and unknowns as possible and hedge against what those could do in the future. But there's always uncertainty and there's always risk in development. That's the nature of the business. That's why you invest in a development project instead of a stabilized asset. It's because there's upside, but there's a certain level of risk as well.
Okay, very good. Appreciate your comments. Mm-hmm. We have some time here, so we're going to just ask everyone here some questions and some follow-up questions and have a little fun with that, hopefully. I'm just going to start down there with you, Cody, and we're going to work our way back this way, so you're going to have time to sit here and relax. Give us an opportunity that you see here in 2025 for growth in our community, and what strategy do you see, or what needs to happen to bring that to reality?
Yeah, you bet, Michael. Opportunity in 2025, I do see the vacant office buildings being a tremendous opportunity for commercial real estate in Des Moines. Like I said, we've had some proposals come through here recently. The Wells Fargo properties are one opportunity. We have others downtown. I think what will be different as far as strategies go is we'll certainly utilize public-private partnerships for these conversions. I think there will also be some changes that need to take place in the approach to how these large footprint buildings are modified to be reoccupied. We do see that some are chopping up those spaces to accommodate smaller tenants, and that seems to be very successful. We've also seen some more of the older historic, more unique buildings that are being renovated that really attract a lot of attention. The Carpenter Paper Warehouse is nearing completion, and I believe it's completely leased up. The Courthouse Annex building just on the east side of the Des Moines River is undergoing a renovation, and I believe it's also completely leased up. So there is demand for those unique spaces that offer some amenities, and I think that's a real opportunity with Des Moines because we do have some very nice things to offer that can't be replicated elsewhere. with that, we talked a little bit earlier about some of the just the surface parking lots that offer the opportunity for new development, and I think we'll see more and more of that as properties are RFP'd, and we continue to see interest from investors that are outside of the state as well as our local investors.
And Mike, let's bring you into the conversation. What opportunities are you seeing for growth here in Des Moines and the Metro over the next year?
Yeah, I think what Cody mentioned about the parking lots, I think gone are those days that we want to see just surface parking lots in our downtown Metro. I think they need to be repurposed, whether it's an office building, retail, or more residential living. So I think that's key to hone in on those properties and do something creative for downtown.
And Angie?
I'm going to sound just like them too, but I think there's a lot of adaptive reuse buildings that are available, especially along the river that the city's putting out there, as well as the federal courthouse. But I also have been seeing a lot of office users outside of downtown Des Moines that are reinvesting in their existing buildings. So it's not helping get rid of the excess that we have, but they're reinvesting in their existing buildings or adding on to their buildings. So I'm seeing a lot of growth within the community, keeping insurance companies, keeping different types of businesses here in town, and they're investing in their people by either remodeling their existing facilities or adding on to their facilities. So I see growth with existing businesses. Maybe they're not eating up the spaces we need, but they are staying in the Metro, which I think is very important, and they're buying into what we're trying to do.
Christopher, what opportunities do you see here in 2025?
Yeah, I think sticking along the office, and I mean, it's really all sectors, but I think we see an opportunity, at least we're advising some of our clients, whether they're landlords or occupiers or even lenders, is to think about longer term leases. We think there's an environment today where lenders favor longer term leases with quality tenants. We think that landlords can benefit from the stability of a longer term lease. And we also think from the occupier standpoint, a longer term lease is probably going to be the cheapest we're going to see from a lease rate standpoint, that they're only going to continue to go up, which again, that goes back to the cost of capital. You think about buildings that maybe were at 3.5% on the financing side, and those are going to go to 6 and 7.5. Well, that lease rate is not going to go down. Same thing with the TI project in the future. The cost of construction is not going to go down, and so you have these factors that we think are only going to continue to add to cost. And so we're really advising our clients in the right situations to try to look as long a term from a lease standpoint. Again, whether it's industrial, office, or retail, we think longer is better right now.
Christopher, I wonder, one of the things that we've talked about was some of the entertainment district stuff that you're doing with the Sci-Town. I'm curious, for Des Moines, there's been talk of trying to do some of that around the Pro Iowa Soccer Stadium, maybe around the convention area. What lessons maybe have you learned from the Sci-Town project that you think could be applied to this area?
Yeah, I think it's all about the consumer. There's a shift towards the experiential. So really that traffic driver, whether it's a stadium, whether it's an entertainment venue. At Iowa State's, Iowa State Center, we're saying there's about 1.5 million of activity just from 4 or 5 buildings, and that doesn't include the students, that doesn't include the community. So I think as you look at other projects, not only in Des Moines, but across the Midwest or nationwide, it's really what is the traffic driver? Is there something that can activate a space, a community, a development 365 days a year versus just 6-7 games on a football, or with the Iowa Cubs or with something else. There's just specific days. So how do you activate it 365? I think is really, really important, no matter the location.
Chris, an opportunity for growth here in Central Iowa. What are you looking at?
Yeah, first, I agree completely with Chris and kind of what he summarized, but I think an opportunity is also for, a lot of people in this room probably wouldn't even touch this, but institutional, non-localized investors that look at where they go in with their capital deployment. If they're looking at an Austin multifamily deal and vacancies 10%, where do I go with that capital? There's so many things that we talk about here that are like great things happening in Des Moines and the stability of the market that you'd love to be attracting that capital. They have their own reasons to not focus on some smaller secondary markets, but, that's an opportunity.
And we'll come back to you, Matt.
Great, thanks, Michael. I think there's just a great opportunity to keep people in Des Moines, bring people into Des Moines, whether it's events. The farmers market was mentioned. We have a concert series at Gray's Station. Concerts, just bringing people into downtown and living there to support buildings like Mike's building, but also growing the population. I think employers play a big part in that, but equally important is how enjoyable is a city and how appealing is it to people looking to make a move or not leave. So I think that's an opportunity that everybody in this room plays a part in, and Des Moines does a good job, but there's an opportunity to do better.
Matt, with Hubbell's investment around the river specifically, I'm just curious if you could talk about maybe a little bit further out on some of the things that you all are working around in that space with Icon Water Trails.
Yeah, we've been working with Icon for, I lose track of time, a while, over a year, maybe 2 years. Finally, we're at the point of starting, but really the access to their site is on the southwest corner of Grays Parkway and 16th Street, neither of which are constructed yet. But we are coordinating site. We donated some land to provide access to them. We've been doing schematic design on really an iconic multifamily project there that's just sitting now until some time passes and infrastructure comes. But we had to do some really early planning on how we envisioned that area to function in conjunction with Icon, knowing that was going to be a draw from people not just of the area, but greater Des Moines and regionally as well. So yeah, we've got quite a few different projects that are at different stages of design, but really trying to have a thought of the big picture of what that area wants to look and feel like, and how it's going to function when all these other uses come to play.
Do we have a couple more minutes, Chris?
I think what we're going to do is we'll do our wrap and give a final thought down the line.
We can do that.
And we'll go from there. So we are just about out of time. I want to give the panelists a chance to give a final thought. Matt, since you waited so patiently, we're going to let you start that off.
Bang, bang, bang.
At the end.
Final thoughts, costs aren't going down. Attainability of home ownership is not going up. Rents inevitably are going to go up. So I'm bullish on multifamily.
I feel like the same applies to industrial and a lot of different asset classes. I actually think it's funny to share a quick story about Bill Wright, just because I thought when I was in the same office as Matt and Bill, I thought I was doing a fantastic job of showing up early, and I was there at 4:30 in the morning one day, and I pull in, and Bill's already there. He's always there. He's just working all the time. So I congratulate Bill and his hard work ethic. So.
I think, as the market and our industry evolves, I think that creates a real opportunity for everybody in this room, for us to be smarter, for us to have better strategies, for us to probably adapt quicker and more nimble than we probably ever have. Des Moines is resilient, will continue to be resilient. Everybody in this room has their fingerprints all over it, and that's what's going to make it powerful. Just remember to keep your four-wheel drive on for the next couple of years.
Echoing what they have all said too, I think Des Moines is a great place to be, and I think we don't have the highs and lows like we talked about earlier, like Bill mentioned earlier too. There's not the highs and lows, and we have great support within the room. A lot of competitors that work together every day to help solve problems and figure things out. So I think Des Moines is a great spot to be. We have metro cities that are willing to work and help figure deals and how to make things move forward for the betterment of everyone. So it's rocky, but I think we're in a good spot.
Encouraged from hearing everything that we've heard today, especially all the statistics Cody mentioned. There's great things to happen here in Des Moines. We've got great fundamentals. People want to be here. It's wonderful to be in a room where people want the best for everybody and not just for themselves. I think that makes Des Moines who we are. It's really our DNA. So I'm excited to see where we go. I think there's only good things ahead.
I'm going to echo a lot of what everybody else has said here, but from the city staff perspective, basically everything that we do is focused on making Des Moines a great place to be. We're looking to attract people, attract business and investment, and as long as we have talented investors, talented developers, that's going to continue. I'm really excited about where we're at right now, about the things that we have in the hopper that are on the way, and even with the challenges, I mean, development's always challenging. There's always that stuff in the works. So as long as we're resilient, maintain focus, and be strategic, I think Des Moines will see some great things happen in the coming year.
Well, I want to share just a couple things before we head out today. On May 15th, we've got our second Power Breakfast of the year at the Des Moines Heritage Center. The topic we're going to be talking about will be probably key to some of the things that you all are navigating. We're going to be talking about tariffs, policies, and federal regulation, things that are affecting businesses and the economy. We've got a great group for that. It's kind of our panel of experts to help you think about how to navigate through when we're in a time of uncertainty. And the conversation, of course, around commercial real estate doesn't end today. We encourage you to sign up for the Commercial Real Estate e-newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, and of course, enjoy the annual Real Estate magazine as well. On May 29th, we've got our first of 3 Project 515 virtual events for 2025. Project 515 is our 3-part series that focuses on real estate and development. It's our effort to look at the different sectors throughout the course of the year so that you're getting a little bit of a litmus test of how the office market's doing, how retail, and how housing is doing as well. So we hope you enjoy that and join us for that. I want to thank our sponsors again today. Thank you to the Des Moines MPO, Whitfield Eddy Law, Mid-American Energy, Community State Bank, and Polk County Housing Trust Fund. Let's give them a big round of applause for helping make today happen. I also want to thank again our annual Real Estate magazine chapter sponsors, R&R Realty, the City of Ankeny, First National Bank, SVN, and Tenfold Architecture and Design. And of course, again, I want to give another big congratulations to Bill. So let's give him one final round of applause today. Thanks to Michael Crum for curating a great group of panelists and questions. We're really fortunate to have somebody like Michael on our team writing about commercial real estate each and every day. Your work and your support of us helps us be able to have great, talented folks on the team that are able to write in a great way about the things that are happening. So thank you, Michael, for putting today's panel together. And of course, to our speakers. We're so grateful for your expertise, your forecasting abilities today as well, and putting yourself out there about some of the things that we're all going to be expecting here over the next year or so. Let's give our panelists one last round of applause. I say this probably at every event. It's our goal to help you do business better. That's the bar and the benchmark when we're judging whether we do an event or a publication or write a story. We have to answer that question because that's why you're hopefully consuming the things that we're reading, is to help put you in a better position to run your businesses in a better way. So thank you for being here today to learn a little bit about the community. Thanks for supporting us. If we can ever do anything, if I can ever do anything to help you and your business, please feel free to reach out our way. I'm going to steal this from a favorite podcast of mine, and again, we started today with talking about this being a little bit of a tough week in some ways, and so these aren't my words. I find them appropriate for the week, but please take care of yourself. If you can, take care of somebody else, and thank you for being here today, and have a great afternoon. Thank you.